1 mark. And we're here with episode 3, season 2. I've got Speedy V, and I have Wolf23, and we're going to have a great episode for everyone tonight. And I'm really looking forward to it. This is an episode that I have been waiting for. And I'm joined by Speedy.
Hello.
Speedy, one of my favorite players. Someone I've actually really admired. I never told him that, but I've really admired his play, his ability to lead teams, and just a sound strategic player, one that truly understands the game and has really molded the sport over the years. And joined with Speedy is Wolf23, my former teammate. Joined with Speedy is kind of not the best. I saw you wince at that.
No, I'm second fiddle. I've accepted it.
But no, he's joining us from a hospital room. Wolf just welcomed his firstborn, as he says, his wolf cub.
No.
Do you have anything to say about that?
All your warm wishes. Congratulations. I did not name it after you, like you asked, but my wife said no.
No, but I'm so happy to have both of these longtime players and friends of mine, and I've moved away from playing, and now I'm kind of in this casting role. But I really miss playing alongside Wolf23. I really miss competing alongside Speedy. I got my first ESL appearance playing against Metamercs. That was kind of what put me on the map, playing with I think my team was Get Some. The terrible name.
Did you get some?
But it was a lot of Get Some. It was a lot of fun. And but we have a lot of questions. I know that I will start this off. I know that everyone wants to know what is up with your new team name.
Well, I could give you a little background on that, sure. So, we kind of quickly just came to a team. We had some different, just added wit to the old crew, and we had some chats and around team name, came up with some ideas, and we wanted to really, just have something that was really symbolic to us. And that's some strong symbolism. But so we came up with something that we thought was really good fit for us, and then we said that we would never tell anyone what it means. So we can't. we made an oath. There's a literal oath, so we can't. I can't tell you what it means, but it means a lot. It means a lot.
Well,
we're pretty proud of it.
To cut off your non-answer, Kung's asking, "What's your take on the new Illuminati?"
Well, I think that's a question for you guys. What's your first thoughts on the new Illuminati, aka ...
Well, I think Kung means there was a team that just registered. Oh, how do you pronounce?
Okay.
How do you pronounce it? CS:GO Crosshair. So we got like 2 questions right now.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, there's the other Illuminati. I figured that's a joke that's not going anywhere because it's just people with loose names based off of the old Illuminati. It's funny, kinda. The name is it's kind of funny. I did laugh. I mean, I found it funny. It's someone thought enough to that they couldn't bear to lose the team Illuminati from history, which we had just wiped from existence off of the VRML slightly recently. So that's cool. I'm glad people still want to see Illuminati around.
It's a fantastic
cool team.
game.
Yeah,
people want to be the ones in power pulling the strings, and Illuminati, it exudes that power and influence. So maybe they can achieve that one day what you have already achieved.
Yeah, I doubt it, but yeah, we're it doesn't hurt to set your goals high.
Definitely
set your goals high.
In talking about teams that names were taken, I know that there is a new Atlas. How do you feel about that, Wolf?
I'm bitter. I never wanted to change the name, so I'm hoping that Rad comes down with their full legal force and do not Or
Cease
cease
and
and
desist.
desist. Yeah, man. C&D. That's all I can hope for.
I was actually talking to VTS today, and I was talking about how much I love that jersey. I mean, I love my Ignite jersey.
I love the Atlas jersey.
I
I
mean, the
still wear it all the
embroidery,
time.
like they had this.
Oh,
I should have grabbed it earlier from my my dresser, but it had this like awesome embroidered badge, and it's like one of my most prized, possessions. I mean,
it's
I
mine.
don't really care about like wealth and extravagance, so a jersey is fine for me.
It
Yeah.
sounds like a cool jersey, man. You'll have to show it to
mean,
me later.
should
I'll
I
have
go
to check
grab
it
it?
out.
Can you let me
Sure, you can go grab it. I'll ask
can
Wolf
you take over
about his
talk about
hospital.
something?
Yeah, Wolf. So so you're gonna have to give us the heads up if you hear the alert that you were telling us
Oh
about
yeah.
at the hospital.
Shit, yeah. So if people start dying from COVID in here, I'm gonna mute my mic because that shit's morbid. So that's good. People also keep burning popcorn, and when
Yeah,
you burn popcorn and set off the fire alarm,
okay.
that
Okay.
there's no like in between. There's no in between. They call code red through the whole hospital, and it's like 3 a.m, so you freak out. You're like, my baby's in here? The hospital's on fire? It's like, nah, someone burnt popcorn.
I'm gonna
That's
have to
cool.
clip that because that might be one of my favorite. That might be my favorite elements of all the stream. But no, I have the I have the Atlas jersey right here. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at
nice.
this
Yeah, I
badge.
like it.
I can't even figure out.
Okay. Pretty cool, man.
This will go to my
It's pretty
child.
slick.
It will be a prized possession, an heirloom.
You should frame it, man.
It has to be
Put it on the
worn.
wall.
It has to be like embraced. And of course,
Mm.
unlucky number
Oh.
13 as it phases out.
There you go.
Thank you, Skype background.
Nice.
No, but
Yeah, I still wear all my jerseys. I mean, they're nice. They feel good. Keep the sweat off
I
you.
mean that's a
And have some.
that's a flex. I mean you you had success in season 1 with the Fangasms, and then you
Yeah.
had success in
Yep.
season 2 with Metamercs, and then you had success in season 3, and then I mean not as great of success as season 2, but I mean you
Yeah.
continue to do well. Every team that you are on, it takes center stage alongside the other teams that are at the top. You had success with Illuminati in the preseason, taking the VRML preseason, and
That's right.
you have accomplished a lot. And when these new teams look at what can they do to find success, what can they do to grow as individual players and as teams, I kind of think of like what would Speedy do, because I don't know, I never played alongside you. I mean, I did in Pizza League, and I was a little irritable because
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you as a player, I'm kind of like very serious. I mean, I joke around, but as a player, I'm like dead
Yep.
serious. And
Right. Yeah, you
and
are. I played with you once. You know, we had a short team, but
the
Pizza League.
yeah,
Pizza League.
I was muted through the whole game, and everyone thought I was upset. And
That's right.
I was like, I'm screaming in my headset. I'm like, pass, 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 and I'm like, why? Like, what's going on? And then someone's like, is Sputnik muted? And I'm like, so like, one of the main reasons. I mean,
That's probably like our last game together too. So that's like my lasting memory of playing with Sputnik.
Is he upset or something?
And failing and having the worst communications.
Like, yeah, I mean, I still look back at that with a little bit of shame, but I mean, that's the story of playing with Speedy. And I played with Wolf, and I had a lot of fun playing with Wolf. That was the highlight of all of my Echo play. Was playing alongside you and Far. I loved it. You and I made a poor choice to leave you guys, and that was made a poor choice, and it haunted me, and it haunted It
Still
haunted
have
me.
nightmares.
That regret means a lot, but that regret is all that I have.
Would you take him back, Wolf? Would you take him back?
It's the heart's still tender. You're asking me with a few drinks in, so I feel like it's that whole like ex-boyfriend thing.
You can always back out later.
Yeah.
But we spent a lot. I think the height of everything was November 2018 when we were scrimming, because I just enjoy playing. It was never about performing like well at ESL. It was just like in ESL. It was just about playing and just playing the sport as hard as you could. And you definitely know I played hard. I play out of my mind. Like when I get on a roll, I get on a roll, and when I get in a I'm a very emotional player.
For sure. And I think you ripped at least 2 or 3 pairs of shorts with those drop saves. So, like, I mean, life and limb. Like,
Did he make the save at least? I mean, if you made the
dude,
save, it's worth it.
Every time he'd be like, "Oh," we'd be like, "Oh, nice butt," and he'd be like, "Oh man, I ripped my shorts doing that." Fuck. Like, over and over.
Because I would pretty much like go into a butterfly.
It's
So I would
impressive.
use hockey. I would use
Oh,
hockey.
wow.
I wouldn't go like completely into the butterfly. I'd tear something in my groin if I did that. But I would drop my weight, and there were many. I was playing with Kung one time in a pub, or I don't remember, and I just remember I got back from like this like kind of like waspy country club thing, and I was wearing very like it was like khaki shorts that was a little too fat for him, and I tried to make a save and I just ripped them right down the middle, and like I make the save and then you can see me slowly get up and I'm like I just.
Oh man.
But I mean that was
That's going all out. That's going all out. Putting it all on the line. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty rough, man. That's pretty rough.
I think you may have just lost your microphone there, Sput.
I can hear you for what it's worth.
Yeah, we both hear you. Maybe Twitch, they're not hearing you. There you go.
We will now cut to the backup microphone because after many of these episodes, something always goes wrong. So,
Good now.
But like, what are some good stories you guys have? I mean, I know you haven't ripped any pants, thank God. But
my most painful one is. I'm sorry. Are you talking, Wolf? I think you went mute. So I'll just say my most painful one that I've had, other than the like ones where you're just destroying your hands that everyone has numbers of, breaking fingers, almost breaking fingers, right? Was so I have a pretty nice like sim racing rig that's like a formula style one that's really low, and I just I fell. I've never had this happen where I was like spinning around and I fell, and I landed. I've got these brakes that are like vertical, like metal brakes like this. My tailbone landed right on that. I sat there for like a few minutes, just in like, fuck. It was so bad. Like I had to stop playing. It was like a scrim or something, but yeah, that's the worst one. I totally just moved my whole sim racing rig out of the way after that, so it's not a problem anymore. But that's my most painful, embarrassing. Oh, I mean, actually, my most embarrassing story is one that I think Strimbitsky loves to retell. When I was playing on Metamercs, and we're just playing a scrim, and all of a sudden my dachshund got sick or something, and just shat he just took a big shit right next to my play space, and not only was there shit there, but I didn't notice it until like it started soaking through my socks, right? And then I looked up, and it was like there's like footprints in my room.
Yo.
And I told them that, and they were laughing about it for forever. Like he still laughs about it to today and brings it up to today. Like, I mean, I had to like put a full stop for like 20 minutes to like clean up everything, and it was awful. So
That's so
it is nasty. It is nasty. So nasty.
I don't have anything that cool. But Speedy,
That's so cool.
I have the normal breaking fingers story, but it was actually you. I was going.
Okay,
after
good.
you. I remember specifically. Here, you can actually still probably see it. It's still like this. I didn't heal right, so this finger is like all fucked up. So you can't see it very well. But yeah, my right index finger is still not the same. It's
wow.
It's so fucked up. So I remember the moment. Remember the moment.
Frame it and put it into a picture. His swollen finger.
Yeah, dude, it was so fucked. It was so fucked. I could not make a fist for like 2.5 months, and then I went to the doctor, and they were like, "Yeah, you broke that. Why didn't you come get it like fixed or anything?" I was like, "I thought it'd get better," and they're like, "Yeah, now it's never gonna get better." So, but yeah, it has like I have full range of motion now, but it just the funny thing is like the nurse just continually goes like, yeah, you'll probably get range of motion back, but there's nothing I can do about the deformity. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't care how it looks. I just want to make sure that I can grab things still and like use a trigger. And she's like, no, yeah, it's fine, but it's deformed, and I can't do anything about how deformed it is. The deformity. And she just like insisted on telling me how deformed my finger was.
Can we move on, please?
I
don't
know.
want to my deformed finger.
She's like, I don't know if you understand this, but your finger's fucking gross. Like,
You'll never.
Can you just get out of here?
You'll never be the hand model you used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Oh,
that's rough.
I remember that injury too. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in the game.
I remember that injury.
Yeah, it's sad that I don't remember. Did you tell me about it at the time? Or
no, I don't think so. I think we had a bad scrim, so I like logged off pretty tilted or something like that. I was not happy. My wife was like, "Okay, we need to like move somewhere with vaulted ceilings because this shit's not working."
That eventually was a big decision in the home that you purchased recently.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and also like I'm 6'3", or just about. If I pop my back, I am. But like the vaulted ceilings are a nice aesthetic for tall people, and also I broke my finger against my ceiling, so that helped.
Mm-hmm.
I did break. I think I got like one hairline fracture, and like I think I was talking to my brother, and he's like, "Why didn't you go to the hospital?" I was like, "Cause I'm too ashamed." They're like, "How did you break this?" It's like, like there's a digital disc like flying above my head, so I decided to like jump for it and like, just fucking power fist my ceiling, and yeah, so like
I lied. I didn't say what it was. So
you lied?
I lied.
I went to a doctor for a sim racing like repetitive movement like injury because I was playing it way too much for 6 years, something like that.
Sure.
So,
Right.
And so eventually it starts to wear you down, and I just had this like pain in my wrist that wouldn't go away. I had to tell them about it, and they're like, just don't use it. Like, that's pretty much all you can do. Don't use it. I'm like, so that pretty much killed my sim racing career because I was like, all right, now I'm just didn't play for like 3, 5, 6 months, whatever it was, and then I had no motivation to get anywhere near as good as I was because I was really good at that point, and I'm like, too much work.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, when luckily Echo Arena came in my life. So I was like, all right.
So in December 2018, I had to take a month off, and my game never really recovered from that. I don't know if my game did or my spirit did. I don't know, but I remember Far saying, "Don't do it," and I'm like, "But I need to heal. Like I can't. Like I developed from the boosting motion. I developed de Quervain's tenosynovitis, which if anyone watching, take time off. Repetitive motion injuries suck, and if you ever feel pain here, start paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're younger, you might not have the issue till you get older. So you're lucky. I'm an old guy. That's what the kids say. that's what the kids say. No, but breaking fingers, ripping pants, breaking hands, stepping in dog shit. These are this is the beauty of Echo Arena.
For the love of the game.
You were like, oh, it's regrabbing. No, it's breaking your hand and lacerating your fingertips and stuff like that.
And continuing to play, realizing that why is my controller slipping out of my hand? And you look and your hand's covered in blood. You're like, what? You hasn't been there, right? You hasn't been there.
These are the great stories that we had. I usually kind of have like a loose script, but we've been having such a good time. We don't need a script, but I feel like I want to go to some. I'm going to refer to the questions.
Feel free.
You did kind of open up on the sports thing, and I think the parallel with sports that I always remember is my coaches asking the questions: are you hurt or are you injured? And I remember as like a little league football player being like, I know what you mean by that. You're like, these children are in pain, and you're like, you got to get back out there, you little bitch.
Like I'm always like the first. If I hear noises, I've always been like the first to be like, "Are you okay?" Like remember, like I always be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And then if you say you're okay, I'm like, "Get back in the game." Get back in the game. Like 100% always, like, and push it to 110% and go as hard as you can. Like, if there's one thing I love playing with intensity to the point that's kind of like zealotry and frenzied zealotry. But
it's like why the game's fun though, right? There's very few games that you can get involved in enough to justify it or to care enough, right? Like, I don't know, it's that fun.
Like, I say that Echo Arena and VR esports, VR sports, whatever, V sports, all these new taglines that we're using, it helped me because I feel like I was like this athlete without a cause. Like I had nothing to compete in, and I missed competition. I don't care about 1v1. I don't care about like very like. I love team dynamics. I love team sports. My favorite thing in Echo Arena is passing. Like that's what I love, and just that sense of camaraderie. It's unrivaled, and the fact that a VR esport or a VR game can bring that element to your life, it's invaluable. It really is. But talk about sports, Speedy. Who's some of your favorite athletes? Who are the athletes that you've always drawn inspiration from, or that have influenced your game?
Oh my God, it's kind of hard to say like favorite athlete.
Go through them all.
A ton. I mean, I'd start with teams, man. Like I'm a Dallas born. Yeah, there you go, St. Louis, man. I'm a Dallas born and raised boy, so I'm all Dallas sports, and I'm a sports junkie, so I'm totally cool with bringing up sports and going down that line. So we got Mr. Blues over there. Not a big fan, but I do like the Stars. I'm a big Stars fan. So yeah, I did play a lot of sports in my youth. Like not really beyond like around high school is kind of when I stopped playing sports and did other things like video games and stuff. But like, growing up, like I played soccer, hockey, basketball, baseball, everything except for football really is really what I did. But like right when I was playing hockey, that was probably the last organized sports I was playing as a kid. The Stars, you're dating myself. The Stars came to Dallas from Minnesota. I was so stoked. It was amazing. I watched every game of them, and I went to go see them, and it was awesome. And obviously they were really good right from the beginning. Like right when they came, they were really good. it just like it was early 90s, and then like leading up to like 99 when they won the cup, kind of when they peaked, and then they had like, you know, then when I was in college they kind of dropped off a little bit, and I got away from them, but I watch them a lot more now. But I'm a big hockey fan, big Mavs fan, big Cowboys fan. This whole COVID thing is really killing my entertainment industry. You know, I've got nothing else to do. I mean, it's making me push the. There was a time where I was like, oh, maybe I might want to take a break from Echo, and then this thing happened. I'm like, nope, not happening anytime soon. What else am I going to do in my time? There's nothing to watch on TV. There's no sports. We had nothing to do except for work and chores and Echo Arena.
So, do you have any like standout hockey players, like maybe Martin Brodeur, Nikolai Khabibulin, Sergei Fedorov?
Well, I mean, my favorites, like I said, were like Mike Modano. I loved, at the time, I loved all the stars back then. You know, Brodeur was really good. The guy that I would say is obviously the greatest. The greatest guy would be Wayne Gretzky. And the cool thing about him is you can still watch highlight videos of him and see like kind of related to Echo Arena. This guy just completely changing the game as far as like passing and everything and positioning, and really just I don't think anyone's ever dominated a sport like Wayne Gretzky did. Like he stands alone. Like, you know, Michael Jordan was great, but Wayne Gretzky is like he like completely dominated hockey, and he put up records that are insane and will never be replicated. So, I mean, didn't see him play that much because the time he was playing, hockey was barely on my radar. But, you know, like I said, I can still respect that. Just going back and looking at greatness is always cool.
Yeah, I never really, I've always kind of glossed over Gretzky. I mean, you can't gloss over Gretzky, but you can kind of ignore him because, like, you're like, this guy's the great. Like, but he's.
Yep.
You gotta look at his stats though. He's my favorite. Hold on, I gotta share my favorite Wayne Gretzky stat ever is that him and his brother are the all-time points leaders of all brothers ever, and Wayne Gretzky's brother has 1 point.
Yeah. Oh man, he's also like the only guy to ever hit like 100 goals in a season. He's done that like 4 times. He did it like 4 times or something stupid. Like, I mean, he's got just crazy records. Yeah.
I think he's the points leader. If you combine the second and third place points leaders, there's still not as many points as Wayne Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one.
Yeah, he just has a different bar. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not really a comparison in other sports. Like Michael Jordan will probably be passed. You know.
People already talk about LeBron, right? Like it's a conversation, but there's no conversation about.
And he did it. The other thing is he did it in a time when there was no scoring in hockey.
Right.
Like today, people score in hockey, and they still don't think anyone's going to reach him. Like they score at like twice the rate. So, but yeah, I'm a big fan of sports in general, and you know, Echo Arena is kind of like just an extension of. You know, for me, I'm with you. You were saying you've never been a fan of like just doing like, you know, non-competitive video games or anything like that. I never was either. Like any kind of narrative-driven video game experience, I just never had any like joy doing. I'm like, if I can't beat my friends at it, what's the point? That's literally how it was. It's probably unhealthy. Like I know a lot of my friends didn't like me growing up because I'm like, hey man, let's play some Madden or whatever. Like, you know, whatever it was. Be it Street Fighter, Madden, whatever, you know, it's like, okay, let's sit down and just go at it. Like we'll just compete for hours, and that's all I like. I didn't like the story game, didn't like stories, didn't like RPGs. I mean, I tend to also like kind of enjoy things where I see like potential for improvement, right? Like sim racing, like racing was kind of on my radar. Now racing, I love watching racing, and sim racing was awesome because you could see like from a get-go, you're like, I'm so bad at this. I am so bad. And I'm being beaten by like these like 7-year-old men and stuff. They're just like horribly. And like, this is not acceptable. I'm going to have to get better. And so then I just like set goals. I'm like, all right, I'm going to beat these. I'm going to beat this guy. And I would just like, you know, follow him around until I'm faster than him and just race these guys and just keep doing it like over and over again. And to the point where I just got to obscene levels and got really, really good at it and won lots of stuff. But that's the way I am though. I have that competitive spirit that Echo Arena kind of brings out in me to an extent. I don't get like upset over things, but I enjoy it a lot. Let's
And
put it that way.
I definitely want to come back to that point, but that sense of competition and how a sense of competition is healthy not only in sports but in professional life. Maybe not so much personal life, competition, but professional life. It really is important. As people approach adulthood, they can learn lessons from sports and team building, all these dynamics. But competition is really good for personal development. But we'll come back to that. I wanna see what Wolf has in terms of what's in his like corner for your favorite players, your favorite teams. So
Ah.
you're I don't even that used to be like the St. Louis Jazz, right?
No, so the Blues are something that I've kind of adopted since I've moved to St. Louis. It's kind of this is my wife's hat, so I'm not a huge hockey fan first and foremost. I enjoy hockey, but my sports are definitely baseball and football. That's what I've always been interested, more so baseball. But I'm a like Speedy. I'm a creature of like my own hometown, which is Kansas City. So I grew up watching the Royals and the Chiefs. So to your point about competition teaching you things about life, sports always taught me how to deal with losing and disappointment. Um, so, which is really carried over into my Echo career. Um, so,
I feel
no,
like that's exactly what sports is about, though, Wolf. Like it's like there's every like professional league, right? You got like 32 teams or whatever,
right,
and like 31 of them, their season ends in disappointment.
for
Like
sure.
you're
Yes.
pretty much always going to end in disappointment. So yeah, I agree, completely agree.
And,
That's
and
it's always about
sometimes you get second place and it's the most pain that you've ever felt, which is
Mhm.
strange. So like you go through like I went for the Royals, they were like my number one like team. I cared more about the Royals than I did like the majority of my personal friendships. Um and like I what to watch them lose all the time too. Like we used to go to Kaufman and like go to the ticket booth and someone's like, "Hey, you looking for tickets?" And we'll be like, "Nah, no, we're just gonna buy them at the ticket booth." They're like, "No, I work here. Just here are tickets. Please come in," because they like had to like give tickets out to get people out of the parking lot. But like even in those years, I cared so much, and then like we lost the World Series in 2014, and I was there. And like I don't know, that shit just like really really hits you. But at the same time, like to Spud's point, like you gain so much respect for the players, like the day in day out like rituals and like having to come back and play the next season, right? And
the fresh
just
start, man. It's all about that fresh start.
right, right. And then the Royals came back in 2015 and won it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, those are my teams. Players are a lot of like non-Kansas City players. Like my number one sports personality of all time is Barry Sanders. He like was my childhood hero. A little bit like before my time, but like it's also probably why I've like spent a lot of my life just watching old highlight videos because I used to just watch old Barry Sanders videos. So something about being the best and not having to like tell anybody or do anything but be the best and then everyone knows it. So I just love that guy. So I model like a lot of what I care about in sports off of Barry Sanders.
All I see when I see like a St. Louis logo is Nelson Cruz like missing his catch in the World Series to where the Rangers lost. Anyway, that's all I see.
I
Luckily,
like,
I saw everyone of my other teams I've seen win in my lifetime, so I'm cool with it. But it'd be
Yep.
nice if the Rangers could actually put one together. We'll see.
I wish that team did too, because while I am wearing a St. Louis hat, I hate the Cardinals more than anything. So I really hated seeing them lose, or sorry, seeing the Rangers lose, because I love Elvis Andrews and Adrian Beltre were like the greatest duo in sports for
Yeah.
that time. Oh my god, they
Yep.
deserved it.
I will say that the one thing I learned from sports and professional sports is that New York teams will always be a disappointment.
What?
Well, except for the
Except
Yankees.
for the
The Yankees, I hate the
right? Yeah,
Yankees.
yeah.
I'm a Mets fan. Fuck the Yankees. I hate that
Okay,
franchise.
that's fair.
Uh, I'd rather go to. I remember going to the Mets stadium and it smelled like piss, and that was the Shea Stadium before they got the new one, and that's my memory of professional baseball is just dilapidated Shea,
Urine.
and I love it.
Just the scent of
The
urine.
scent of
Yeah,
urine, and
for sure.
um,
Mhm.
no, but like talking about your favorite, because I might as well chime in with my favorites because I want to now. No,
No, please
but
do. Do.
what I've learned from sports is I've I love Barry Sanders. He was like I, I love Barry Sanders the same way that I like Sergei Fedorov. They were very talented. Their movement was like incredibly skillful. Like Sergei Fedorov would literally, he was like a figure skate, like a brute, like this brutish figure skater on the like in the rink because he was just. I saw him play in the twilight of his career at in the Capitals. This was a decade ago, and you know, he just very skilled skater, and I just was always impressed. And I finally saw it in person. I was like, wow, like I'm glad I got to see Fedorov before he retired. And I hated Ovechkin. Uh,
Oh, but you said
Ovechkin's
He is so
another
good.
brute,
He is so
like
good.
just brute force, and I like that. I like very skilled, elegant play, and Fedorov was like that. Um, and then I loved uh, Patrick Ewing of the New York Knicks. He just strong fundamental play. Patrick Ewing is a very educated. He went to Georgetown. He's very educated, very smart, very classy. Uh, and I feel like I went from watching the Knicks in like 1998. You had a very composed senior Patrick Ewing right next to Latrell Sprewell, and Latrell Sprewell was like this younger guy and more raucous, and it was just a very interesting dynamic. And you know, I loved Wayne Chrebet of the New York Jets. He was just a good middle of the line wide receiver. He was like 5'10", 5. He was so small. But he could. He ended up. I remember watching him just get. He had so many concussions. He had to retire. He's a small guy. He just get stomped. And I remember seeing like Bill Romanowski take a hit on Wayne Chrebet, and he just like immediately went into the fencing.
Oh wow.
you hate
Yeah, and I
to-
was
you hate to-
Yeah.
that was the end of his career.
That's not good.
But these are the athletes that we see qualities of ourselves in, or we aspire to be, and whether they're role models for how they play on the court, how they act outside the court. These are people that we draw inspiration from and we look up to. But it's really interesting to look back and what shaped your views and it, you know Echo. I always push Echo Arena as a sport. We will look. Echo Arena will continue to have success, and we're gonna look back at the future. The future players are gonna look back at like, oh, who created this? Like, who created these strategies? This is our sports history, and we're creating it as we go. And thank you, C. Jason, for the 25 bits. But to go on to these other questions, talking about competition, how do you feel that sports and uh, growing up or while in adulthood, the sports you play, Speedy, how do you feel that they've shaped or molded you?
It's really, I would say, like just that drive for competition, man, and like sports to me are like real time problem solving, right? Like, so I think that's something that I apply towards all assets in my life, right? Like like work, for instance, right? Like that's my whole job is just tackling one problem after another, right? That's work. So that's what sport kind of teaches you is how you can quickly solve problems, and I'll say that's how I view it.
Nice, and uh, I definitely can build upon that. How do you feel about that, Wolf?
No, I agree. I think like the work that is rewarding for sports or like competitive anything. So like the reason why Echo succeeds so much is like more of a sport to me and less of a video game is I feel like I don't know, with like a lot of competitive video games you're playing within the box or like the limitations of whatever the game is. So you're typically like playing more of the game and then like the person that you're playing against through that. While Echo, I feel like you're almost directly playing the person so often. Like you got to hit your shots and you got to like execute a lot of the times, but like mentally, like it's kind of you versus the other person. So like kind of that chess game versus I don't know, like Call of Duty. Not to badmouth Call of
No,
Duty.
but
It's a bad idea.
who are some players from Echo Arena that you not maybe a nemesis because everyone has become friends, and
Mhm.
well, we have definitely become friends. These newer players, we don't know the attitudes they have, but we always tell. I mean, I wanna tell them, this is a sport. You might hate someone now, but you'll gain an appreciation for them later, and you'll find some sense of bonding, or friendship because of this. And as you smirk, that was maybe not the best word, but, um, but who are some players that shaped your game, Speedy? Or did you shape everything?
Um, yeah, I shaped everything. No, 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 no. I mean, the original. Okay, I would say like the first player who kind of helped me out with that was I would say Lemming. Like I started right at the very beginning, and the first player I remember like making an impact on me would be Lemming. Like he was like always there. Like he's like, oh my god, Speedy, I just realized you can do this. Like it was amazing. Like the game just started. We're talking like beta weekend, and he would show me like these things that you could do in the game, and like just these new strategies and just basic things that were revolutionary at the time. Like, hey man, like if I'm behind you, or if you're trying to go the same direction as me and I'm in front of you, let me grab you. Just basic things that no one had really thought about yet. So like he was probably the first guy that I really thought about in that way, and then the other players I would say probably like Simeon and Guygasm, playing with those guys and Fingasms was always really big. Like for some reason my Siri is about to launch on me, but yeah, playing with Simeon and Guygasm was really big. Like we came up with a lot of stuff that no one else was really doing at the time, right? Like the whole passing in the bubble. Like I just I still tell that story like today. Like I remember like when on the first land we went to, like we were talking to David and he was like giving us shit for passing it like in front of the goal to each other because no one else is doing that. And he's like, why would you pass it when you just instead of shooting it? Why would you pass it when you're in the bubble? You can take a shot. It makes no sense. Like this is what David was telling us, right? Like, and we were just looking at each other and rolling our eyes and like he doesn't understand. Like I don't understand. How do these guys not understand how big passing is? Like it's like pass. We're playing against Eclipse and their strategy was, okay, hand it to Lemming and then Shiny goes and punches the goalie and Palador sits at mid. That was like the how they played, right? And we're like, but why wouldn't you like both be involved in offense and pass it back and forth? It was insane to me. But yeah, so I mean, that's from the get go. I would say that's the big ones. Like both Simeon and I were constantly bouncing ideas off each other. Like as far as like, like hey, let's you sit up over here and we'll pass to this guy and then we can pass to this guy, and it's Simeon was doing it. And I remember like at the end of that first season, they were telling us how like no one was scrimming Eclipse at all, right? And we're like, okay, we'll scrim them. And then we started, they had just changed the meta to starting with a disc, right? And so we started doing it to where we would frequently pass, like Simeon starts the disc, passes to one of us, we pass it back to him, and then all of a sudden he's got a bunch of open, works, and Eclipse was that was mind boggling. We didn't know you could pass backwards. They were like, you could pass backwards? It makes no sense.
Dude, you have new players in pubs now yell at you like, "Why would you throw it backwards? What's wrong with you?" Like it's like some sort of
it was so powered. It was so overpowered at first. You pass backwards, and then they leave the guy. The quarterback is completely wide open. He just walks it up. But yeah, it's crazy that all these things that that are just taken for granted now that everyone does, or just things that are just, you know, kind of had to be invented by the players, to your points, but like the entire meta. So, it's cool to see that the full development. Like I can't relate to new players like really today, because I never had the experience of jumping in with something that was already like, where there's a bunch of like, stuff already developed, strategies and stuff. It was completely new. No one knew how to boost, pass, anything. People could barely shoot, you know. So it was just like, it was all fresh back then, and it was fun. Like it was a really cool time, and it was cool to be a part of it.
It's like taking the peach basket and nailing it to the board, and then cutting a hole in it and deciding, oh wait, we can make a sport at it.
Right.
We can throw a ball through it. But you know, this is the history of our sport, and this is the development, and it's really interesting that I didn't know many of these things, so I'm learning these things just as everyone and all the viewers. But where do you stand on that, Wolf? Who influenced you?
Yeah, so I don't have that same perspective. I did not play since the beta, so I started like November of 2017, I think, maybe October. So I learned a lot, like from pubs up to 50, and then just got involved in privates. I think Far and Farafo in some like random pub were like, hey man, you want to join an ESL team? You're pretty good. And then from that point from that point forward, I just like worked out with them, and they taught me a lot. So other than that, like the I'd say like the player who influenced me a lot is Leverage, just because I watch a lot of Kangaroola's film. I think like their understanding of the meta and the way they push the meta um, is, I don't know, like I guess that's it. They push the meta. I think they have a really, like Leverage especially has a really good understanding of how the game works. And if you've ever talked to the guy in person, like at a LAN or like at like an Oculus Connect, like the dude just got like so many thoughts on the game. So I don't know. He's like the guy. I think I'm very curious if you ever would get him on the show, like how much he would reveal, how much he would say. But the guy's got some thoughts.
I should definitely reach out to Leverage. Leverage. I remember talk about Leverage story.
Good luck.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly. I have to appeal to him. So, we we've had this relationship, all of us, as we've grown as players, as we've, uh, you know, developed Pizza League, and we steered the direction of this game. Um, and Leverage doesn't really. Leverage is kind of above it all. Like we'll be in the dugout, chatting shit and saying stupid stuff, and Leverage is like in the boxes, like going like, you know, just watching. He's got like headphones or something, and he's listening in that scenario. But like he's a player that like we all kind of revere, and deeply respect. Uh,
The people who,
yeah,
I would say, I think that's the saddest part is there's so many people who don't, and like new players, even people who are like really getting involved with the game now and like playing VRML, and they're like name, like I don't know, there was that whole like tier list fad that went on, like I don't know, what was that, like a few months
I
ago?
think
And
I was the one that started that, and then and then
yeah,
I was like,
Thanks, Spike.
I did it. No, but
that shit caught fire, and like I didn't find it very, like I don't know, like telling or anything. It's just it was interesting to see people's opinions, or I don't know, like frustrating at times. But like the mainly because like I saw how people just slept on Leverage so much. Like the people respect so much the ability to like dip and dodge and shoot 18s.
Mhm.
But like I don't know. Like it's hard. I would say like that doesn't win championships, but the most recent one would.
no,
Let's move
yes,
on.
let's move on.
Yeah, right.
Our game is changing, and takes different it takes different forms now. But it's uh, I know that Leverage. When I was still, I think I was a fresh level 50, and I think we were playing in the middle of the afternoon, and he came on to play a pub, and he was playing inverted, and just like being in this like being like it's awestruck, being awestruck, and I see that, see Jason, but
Yeah.
see, see Jason, my moderator, and I shout out to see Jason, who I am very thankful for helping me along the process and ensuring that this show's quality. He's a big part of the big part of the production, so I'm very thankful for C Jason. So, but he does love to say stupid shit like that.
Oh man, you got a beard, you know? I don't know. You're old at heart, Sputnik, but you're, you know, young body.
But I had a girlfriend that said to me that said that to me when I was like 20. She's like you're this old ass man in this body. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're this old spirit. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. No, but thank you for that comment, C. Jason. But you know, as we talk about how this game is changing, talk about the demographic shift. I used to say it used to just be us when the game started. It used to just be us grown ass men, and now you have children yelling like no square and like stuff like that, like other memes, which I have no idea. So I don't know if that was in bad taste, but that's something I've heard. So like we have this huge demographic shift as the Quest is this new sensation with the game, and is that good for us? How do you feel about that, Speedy?
I suppose you're meaning competitive landscape.
I mean, eh,
I mean, I feel like there's always been young players. I feel like the only change has really been that there's been more young players, like actually on good teams making a threat.
mm-hmm.
And obviously Joker is the one leading the way there, but you have all sorts of other like young teenagers and like out there forming teams that are that's always a risk. You're going to get beaten by them. I mean, it's the only advantage we have is it's still part of it's a thinking man's game, right? There's certainly like an element of there's the strategy element, there's the team play. A lot of the younger teams struggle to get there at first. Like the young teams to begin with were not necessarily great at the whole team play part, right? But they're definitely getting there now. They learn quick, right? They learn quick. That's always a threat, man. That was what I always hated in sim racing, man. Was I got really good, and then someone would come along, some 15-year-old kid would come along, and 3 months later, he's just killing it, and he's like a world beater, and you're like, okay, there's nothing you can do about that. That's the way it is. That's life. Those kids are gonna learn quicker. That's what they do.
I can remember in like November to January 2018 to 2019, seeing this like very strong Joker starting to like find their groove, and being so pissed when we would lose. Like we would have success and win against them, and then they started
Right.
the tide started shifting, and they started having success against us, and I used to be so pissed. I mean, like, not like at them, but like just this generational thing, and
The creeping
yeah,
of age. You feel it coming on.
and I'm trying to get back into playing again because I miss the sport, and I want to play, like, and I realized like, hey, I got to keep playing, whether it's not VRML, but I want to play because I miss this sport. I love it. I love it, and I miss playing. But as we have all these younger players approaching the game, it's very good because we can see, the possibilities of having Echo Arena, like scholastic leagues, intramural leagues for schools and stuff like that. How do you feel about the demographic shift yourself, Wolf?
I think Speedy hit it on the head. Like the big thing is, like spongy brains of the youth. They adapt. They figure stuff out. They normally play a lot with I don't want to say their heart, because they really play with their dick. That's really what it is. It's just 100% Ender's thing of like, sometimes you just gotta big dick it, man. And I just remember hearing that and like, God, I just hate you so much. You're right, and like Ender's a great example, right? Like he's one of those young kids who figured out the game, had a lot of like meta changing stuff, and then he learned, right? Like he like figured out the meta, just started adapting, started playing the right way, and he got better. And that's like, I don't know, that's like that whole thing of like creeping death of like just being old, of like the kids are always going to have like the meta shifting strategies and game changing things, and as the chess game evolves, like they can learn that, but you can't learn um I don't know, like all the new curveball stuff, right? Like that's stuff that you have to try and stay young with. So I enjoy it. I like that stuff. That being said, I like the young uh spirit of Echo that was before Quest. Like now that Quest has kind of picked up a lot, I'm really happy and like thankful for the player count and all that stuff. But like I do feel like I've gotten a more get off my lawn attitude that I've tried to control. But that might just be like fatherhood and like hormones. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays.
I mean, you're going through all these wild changes. It's that time, all the hormones. This is a bad joke, so I'll cut it off. But no, like, I mean, I've started playing again. And my God, I have this toxicness that I have not seen in a long time with some of these newer players. So that's, I mean, now I like talk about it's my lawn. Like now I have to be like, oh, this is the house that I built. I gotta prove to you that I am still good.
I feel that though. I feel that because Echo, like I don't want to say like the lobby is the lawn, right? But like that's how I feel. Is like ever since Quest came in, you go in there and you don't recognize anybody, right? Like it's like an anomaly to go in and see someone. Like there's plenty of times where like 6 months ago, Speedy and I would be in the same lobby, and I'd be like, "Yeah, of course we are," and I know somebody in here, and I'll probably see you in the next pub if you're pubbing. So like I wouldn't say hi or whatever, but like now if I saw Speedy in a pub, or like not in a pub but in the lobby, I'd be like, "Oh shit, what's up?" Because just you're in a bigger city in a way. You've moved out of this rural like small town Echo to the big city of like all these questies, and they go, "Oh wow, a level 50," and you're like, "I'm so much more than that, and you have no idea. Don't you know who I am?"
Look at my name. I did that the other day. I was looking. I said to someone, and I'm already worked up. I'm like, look at my name. I'm like, do you think I have such an attitude and I'm a shitter? And I was like, oh my God.
But that's toxic in itself,
Yeah.
right? So you have to like you have to check, because I feel the same thing, and I have to like watch that. But like I don't know, man. Like that's the thing, is like I have to keep faith that like I think back to when I was like 12 or 13 and I got Xbox Live, or I started going to like Super Smash Brothers weeklies. And I remember like when I was like 12 or 13 and there were like 17 or 18-year-olds at those Smash weeklies, and they would just absolutely destroy me, right? And I would destroy all my friends, right? I would be like the best player bar none, and then talk mad shit in the basement as a 12-year-old. And then you go to a Smash weekly to someone who actually knows what they're doing, and they force stock you back to back 2-0. You do like 80% damage on them through the whole set, and then at the end they go, "Hey man, good games, you could improve on this." And then like that shit changed me, you know what I mean? Having that 17, 18-year-old like that was so much bigger than me, like saying like, "Hey man, work on this and you can get better," or whatever, like that made a huge impression. Like that made me a better person, like bar none. So the 12-year-old in the basement playing Smash was a shitty person, but it took those weeklies getting my ass kicked to, what I mean, like
No, but
change. And I you just gotta try to be that
you
person.
know, the sense of mentorship and guidance. This is a way of the thing. Like this is a way of sports. This is a way of trades of whatever, and you know, we have this sense that tell these players. I always say don't lock your knees. Why people say why is my throw off? You're locking your knees. You're not putting your body in. Like that's the one thing I say. Don't lock your knees. But I feel that we are at an hour now. I kind of want. See Jason say I always lock my knees. I, uh, I kind of want to cut to Wolf's video. I want to show off Wolf's video.
Do it.
So,
Are you gonna give me my 51st view?
your 51st view. So let me.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna cut to the partial screen, and we can talk over this. Ooh, that might be really loud. That might be really loud.
You don't have to do any of the audio.
You don't want to do the audio? I like some of the music.
If you want to. Yeah. Again, this shows my Nintendo roots because I did the Wii Shop music.
Yeah, but this is the one thing that I always loved about my game. It was slapping, and this is the best.
Yeah, in the spirit of what we were talking about, the whole thing that led to me making this was I was just trying to put clips together with different, I don't know, like unintuitive things to the game, to make like really quick tutorial videos for the questies. So like slapping's like kind of a concept that you have to be taught. Like it's not intuitive to hold the grab button down before you make contact. There's a lot of stuff in here about like just predicting where people are going to throw by their eyes. And that's more of like what we were talking about before, like sports, right? Like, this is I think the thing that made it so that like I downloaded this game on a whim and then I never stopped playing was it's the first game that like you actually can read people by their eyes and like telegraphing passes and shit. And that just like blew me away. So those kind of concepts is what I wanted to do. So I just started putting these clips together, and then like I haven't been able to play much because I'm at the hospital. So I just threw this together and had no one watch it. So this is appreciated.
But
Hey man, cool video, Wolf.
I like the video, but as we'll cut back to the regular screen, let me. I like the video, but and we are back. So the regular screen, this has been one of my favorite episodes. I mean, I've enjoyed every episode I've done, but I really have really enjoyed having. This has been one of my favorite episodes. I've enjoyed every episode I've done. Your observations, but I've really invaluable. They're priceless. Really enjoyed having you guys on. Your input. We can document our history on this podcast. The history of this game. We have a written record. Let it be known. Refer back to the tapes. We can document our history. Oh, we have a verbal record. The history of this game. We have a written record. Let it be known. Refer back to the tapes. I want to reach out to we have a verbal the chat if they have any last questions. Lanza wants me to close the stream, but does anyone want to reach out to the chat if they have any last questions? And I fixed that issue. There was the double. I fixed it. So. Only like 2 minor audio glitches, but yeah. Do we have any questions from chat? Do you guys have anything? Do you want any last parting words?
I haven't heard any alarms from the hospital yet, Wolf. So I'm assuming that they paid you to feed us this information, so that we can.
I legit muted one. Not gonna lie. Not to be morbid, but yeah, someone definitely coded while we were talking.
Oh, really?
Dang.
Yeah,
well,
wear your mask, social distance. This is the one like real part of the stream. Sorry to bring everyone down. Living in a hospital, please do your best because this shit's real. Like people, like when you have to listen every time someone code blues in a hospital, you really want to wear a mask and you really want to like order takeout and not actually go in the restaurant. So just
leave the hospital.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
So, Speedy, do you have any last words?
No, I'm good.
All right, well,
my battery's about to die. Actually,
all right. I will say, I will echo what Wolf said, and wear your masks. COVID is real, and also I want to end this cast with I haven't been active on this, and I don't really like politics, but Black Lives Matter, and you must fight, systemic racism, and be the change you want to see. So, with that being said, a little bit of reality to inject in here, and if my politics offends you, I'm sorry, but thanks everyone, thanks to the viewers, thank you for donating the bits, and thank you guys for coming along and being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Bud.
All right.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Everyone have a good night. All right. And so I'll